Hi, welcome back to English 3050. We are now on week 3, and our objective for this week is to continue your job search documents while also working on providing effective feedback and revising successfully. So the new thing we're going to be doing this week is peer review. You should have, by Friday, have submitted your draft to the peer review forum. By the end of the day on Wednesday, you need to submit your comments on the drafts of at least 2 of your classmates. Now, the reason Wednesday rather than Sunday is the due date for that is that the final version of the resume and cover letter is due on Sunday. So I want to make sure people have a few days to look over the comments and incorporate the suggestions for revision. So the first thing I want to do right now is just talk about the peer review feedback. And there's a description of this in this week's course folder and also under course materials under essential course documents. So you've probably done peer review other times, and we're actually going to have a video on doing peer review. Right now what I want to talk about is just the assignment itself. So we're going to have 3 peer reviews this semester, 1 for the job materials, 1 for the instructions, and 1 for the technical report. And you are required for each one to submit your own draft and then to comment on the drafts of 2 of your peers. And how to do that is what I want to talk through, because what's important is making sure that everybody gets feedback. So the first thing you're going to do, search the peer review forum for a peer's draft that has no feedback. If someone doesn't have any feedback, give them some feedback. If there are no threads without feedback, look for a peer who has 1 piece of feedback. If there are no threads with only 0 or 1 pieces of feedback, ask me whether you can post to a thread with 2 or more pieces of feedback, because that shouldn't be the case given how many of you there are if everyone responds to 2. So, but what you want to do basically, I don't think that's going to be a problem. What would more likely be a problem is that somebody ends up with no feedback, and we don't want that to happen. So before you comment, look through the forum and find someone with no feedback. Post a comment to the selected forum stating that you will provide feedback. So that's going to be your first post. I will provide feedback. And that will mean that people will know, okay, this post is going to get feedback. I'm not going to go in and post, so that you'll have some time to read carefully and provide your drafts. Download and read the drafts. Whether you officially download or not is up to you. I used to like to grade from hard copies, actually. I have been teaching online for long enough that I now mostly grade electronically. I still like something about having a hard copy. I would recommend, if you don't have a ton of experience doing peer review, it might be helpful to have a hard copy, but that's really up for you. And read, noting the strong and weak points, and we're going to talk a little bit more about what to look for. Post your feedback as a comment on the thread. So use the rubric for this assignment, which we're going to look at in a second, as well as the advice given in Anderson and McMurray that I'm going to go over in the video. And there's actually a sample peer feedback letter in McMurray that's excellent, that would provide a good model. And then you're going to search for a second peer's draft following the same steps as before. Don't promise feedback for a second draft before posting the feedback for the first draft. So that's an important step. And then repeat the steps. So hopefully this makes sense. You're going to go into the peer review forum, and actually we can go into the peer review forum. Why don't we just do this to see? I hope some of you did this. Oh, awesome. Resume and cover letter forum, go in here. So anything that says unread threads 1, total post 1, means there isn't feedback. So I could just go in, click on the first one, and say, I'm going to provide feedback. After I say that, I will read carefully through, provide my feedback, and post my comment. And after I've done that, I'll go find someone else who only has 1, which means they're the only person who posted, and do the same thing. So I hope this makes sense for what you need to do for your peer review feedback. And the rubric, let's see if we can get back to that easily. We can. the rubric is here, so you want to look for things. What I'll be looking for was your feedback addressed directly to your peer. Remember, I'm not the audience, your peer is. Have you tailored your feedback to be persuasive to your peer? Does your feedback show that you paid close attention to the draft? Is your feedback attentive to the requirements of the assignment? Does it open with a positive statement? Does it employ a descending order of importance? Do you start with the most important revisions? Does it focus on substantive aspects of the draft rather than just on grammar and mechanics? Is it formatted easily, and are your grammar and mechanics strong? So that's the peer review feedback. In the next video, I'm actually going to talk about the specifics of the feedback itself rather than the assignment itself. Thanks for listening.